This week, on The Rock, we take a look at what to do during quarantine. Then, we see how well teachers are handling online teaching. Next, we get some insight from foreign exchange students and how they are being affected. After that, we jump to how COVID is affecting childbirth. Then, we see how making a schedule can help during quarantine. And finally, the importance of staying home is revealed. All that and more, this week, on The Rock. Hello, welcome back to The Rock AHS. I'm Bradley Logan. Let's jump right into it, shall we? To start our show off for today, we have a segment by Mason Bocek on what people are doing during their quarantine.
Man, I'm just so bored.
Bored, you say?
What was that?
It is I, the quarantine god.
That's great, but can you please just, get out of my head?
Not until you get off of your butt and do something.
Well, I don't even know what to do. Quarantine is just so boring.
That's where you're wrong. There's so many things to do during quarantine.
Can you, give me some examples?
Sure can. Through the power of song, your boredom will disappear.
Go outside, mow the lawn, weed the garden with your mom, shoot some hoops angrily, play cards with your family, bike around downtown, must be home by sundown, make a mess, arts and crafts, now you need a bubble bath. Music up on your phone, now you got to dance alone, cut your hair, don't be scared, now you can go anywhere, contemplate morality, question your reality, I'm fine, you're fine, everything is okay. There's so many things to do, time to get up on your way. You've been sleeping in, you've been sleeping in, you've been sleeping in all day. There's so many things to do, for your mental health I pray. You gotta get up and make the most out of today. Down the street, walk your dog, unless you don't have a dog, that's okay, don't delay, walk in circles anyway, meet up at a special place, see your friends face to face, introverts don't despair, organize your Tupperware, schoolwork, headache, relax, take a break, chill out in your room, don't let it become your tomb, work out for a beach bod, so you can become a god, stay up late, check your weight, and you get stargaze.
The universe. The great expanse of the cosmos. What is our purpose as people? And more importantly, what are we supposed to do?
There's so many things to do, time to get up on your way. You've been sleeping in, you've been sleeping in, you've been sleeping in all day. There's so many things to do, for your mental health I pray. You gotta get up and make the most out of today. Practice your sword do, time to get up on your way. You've been sleeping in, you've been sleeping in, you've been sleeping in all day. There's so many things to do, for your mental health I pray. You gotta get up and make the most out of today.
So, what did you think? Oh, you just gonna... You know what? You're hopeless.
Well, that was really something. It seems like students are doing well coping with quarantine. But what about the teachers? Gabe Burnett has created a segment to show us just how well our teachers are doing with online schooling.
With COVID-19 loose in the world, some of you may notice that schools have closed. Due to this, the teachers, ripped from their habitat, have had to teach students online. Now, we're interviewing teachers to see what it's like to educate us remotely.
Well, it was a shock to everybody, of course. Nothing like this has ever happened. When it happened 100 years ago, they just dismissed school. And so I suppose on balance, when we look at all of the parts of it, it's a real blessing to be able to have this available compared to what went on in the past during the only pandemic in the last 100 years. I was a little concerned about the period of time where we were told that nothing would count, because I just played it through in my own head from the perspective of an adolescent that had just been told that the homework that was being assigned was optional and would not be graded. And I knew that it was not going to be as successful as I would hope.
Well, at first it was super overwhelming, just trying to figure out how this was all going to work. I think that it's been a lot better now that students are required to be doing it, because before I felt like I was just posting stuff for, I think I had 7 kids in my 3 honors classes doing work, and I had about 10 in my 2 11th grade English classes. But now I'm about 85% of my students are doing work. So the biggest challenge is just the technology, and like I did some screencastify, and some of those things didn't work for some students on their home computers. So I was trying to do something that I thought would help students understand and they could easily follow along. But then if they can't even access that, I think that there's a disconnect when you're in front of the classroom. You can talk to kids and you can walk them through a process. And if you can't do that, it makes it really difficult. And to go back and forth over email, it takes way longer.
Well, I really enjoy my students a lot. And so my biggest challenge was not being in proximity to my students where I could see them and know if they were struggling or know if they needed help or know if they needed me to just leave them alone. Those are just things that teachers do intuitively and every day. And I get a lot of energy from my students. So my days are always better when I'm with students. And so I had to do everything I do without that kind of positive energy and positive feedback. And the buy-in has not been as good as I would have hoped. These are difficult and unprecedented times, so I'm not really blaming anybody, but it's been a challenge, I think, for everybody, from parents to students to teachers.
I've liked sleeping in a little bit later. I think that's been one thing, because I would always get up at 5 and go work out and then go to school. I think that's probably the only thing.
No.
Needless to say, times are difficult right now. Everyone we know is working hard for their families in this unfortunate pandemic. It's hard on students, but even more so on our instructors. Let's continue to work hard and give a big thank you to our teachers.
It seems like with physical school closing and online school taking its place, things have gotten a bit confusing. It has also put our foreign exchange students into a confusing position as well. Thankfully, Ali Perez was able to interview some of our exchange students on how they are being affected by this pandemic.
Not only is the pandemic crazy at home, but for our foreign exchange students, it's even crazier. Jubin Lee, Alex Conrad, and Mapula Motley had their trips cut short and are currently in their home countries, while An Young and Sofia Bruscato are finishing up their school year here. I was able to speak with 3 of them to hear about their experience in Anacortes.
What is something you're going to miss?
American food, like
tacos and stuff. I think that were best. I'm also gonna miss my host family. Yeah, they're really supportive, and my teachers at school, they're the best.
All the friends I made here. And well, everything. I'll miss Anacortes a lot, and just the scenery and the cafes and my host family and everything, every single thing.
What is something you wish you could have done?
Going to prom. Yeah, and enjoying more time, having more time, spending more time with my friends.
I think because we're seniors, we're missing a lot of the things that seniors would do, and prom and graduation and
What is the most important thing you've learned from this experience?
Life can always change and quickly, and you have to adapt. You have to learn to adapt to everything, like every situation you get into.
Like I've learned so much more about American culture as I'm living here than like hearing the stories on the internet or the books.
The world is really big, and there are really amazing people and experiences out there, and it's so much. There are so many things worth doing. I think I just wanted to thank everyone that I've met and everyone that I've had classes with, and all of the teachers. The teachers had such a great impact on me. I love them. I love all of you. I love all of you. And even though I'm so shy and hard to talk, I really enjoyed my time here, and I really enjoyed all my classes and each one of you. So yeah, I just wanted to thank you all for having me in your country.
I'm also grateful for my host family, my teachers, and all the friends in high school to create memorable times.
USA has always been my dream, and I'm so sad that it's ending this way, and I hope that I will be able to come back to the US, and I really want to come back and settle in the US and see. I hope that one day we will have, what's it called, reunion? Yeah. We'll have a reunion with everyone, so I can see everyone once again.
It's a shame that the school year for our exchange students is being cut short, but it's good that they enjoyed their time while they were here. Now that we've taken a look at a few local things that have changed, let's look at a topic that's on a much bigger scale. Ivy Lynn Thomas has created a segment that takes a look at COVID's effect on childbirth.
I have recently been blessed with a newborn child. My brother and his girlfriend, who graduated from Anacortes High School last year, gave birth in the late part of April. With all of this, it is also important to realize that our decisions not only impact ours, but the future generations, and that if we are going to be supportive and try to let this pandemic subside, that we need to really listen and not just go about lives as we used to and not caring what would happen, because it can hurt other people.
Pregnant women are at a higher risk for respiratory infections, and as most people know, COVID-19 is a virus that attacks respiratory functions. With this, they are in a more immunosuppressed state with decreased immune defenses. These are normal psychologic responses so that the mother's bodies won't reject the pregnancy itself. Respiratory viruses genuinely can't be passed in utero like some other diseases. However, one study in China informs us that out of 33 infants born to mothers with COVID-19, only 3 of them tested positive days after birth. But even with this information, we still don't have enough evidence to support whether COVID can or can't be transmitted in utero, but there is still a possibility. All I can really say is that whether you're pregnant or if you're not, to continue protecting yourself and others from COVID through the times of stress that we are currently in. And the more that we follow down the path that is set for us to protect us, the sooner that we can go about our daily lives. and normalcy again. From the Rock at AHS, or well, here in my own bedroom, I'm Ivy Thomas.
So not much has changed, at least from what we know so far. But I do know one thing that's changed: my sleep schedule. Anyone else? Well, whether you said yes or no, it's a good idea to make yourself a schedule that will give your day some sort of format. Rowan Toll created a segment that should help you find yourself a schedule that fits your style.
Throughout the COVID-19 outbreak, we've pretty much seen it all, from schools being canceled for the rest of the year, to the Olympics being postponed, to the entire world practically shutting down. It may seem like everything is out of our hands, but that's not entirely true. Sure, regular hygiene and obeying stay-at-home orders are pretty much standard. There's actually a fair bit you can do about your life during these unprecedented times. One of these things is creating a schedule, and not just a basic day-by-day schedule. I mean a real hour-by-hour, activity-by-activity schedule that will help you bring a little structure back into your life. I'm joined by Mason Baki, an AHS student, and together, we're writing up a good old-fashioned schedule.
Oh, this meeting's being recorded.
Yes, it's being recorded now.
How do I share? Ooh, share screen. Host disabled participant screen sharing. Rowan.
Didn't do that.
Rowan.
Hold on.
After some minor technical difficulties, we were back on our way.
Okay, so I've been following basically my schedule previous to the Zoom call 2 weeks ago was wake up at 3 p.m., don't do anything, and then go to bed at 5 a.m.
Alright. Well, let's see if we can, I don't know, fix this.
Good luck.
Alright, so obviously the first thing we're gonna have to work on here is your sleep schedule. Now, I'm not saying you have to go straight to 8 a.m. right now.
Here, we'll compromise. What's in the middle of 3 p.m. and 8 a.m.?
Shoot for 10 a.m. If you think you can make 10 a.m., that's a pretty good goal to go for. Probably a good idea to have breakfast before noon. I would also suggest taking a shower.
Oh, yeah, that's smart.
So after breakfast, I guess you could just start working on schoolwork. So then after you finish your math, you could have some lunch. It's probably it's been a while since breakfast, so
yeah, I forgot there's 3 meals in a day.
All right, so after lunch, yeah, just go outside, get some fresh air.
Let's go on a walk.
Go on a walk, yeah.
All right, done with school at 5.
So then you get to do more game time, I guess relaxing Epic Gamer stuff.
Epic Gamer hours. Till whenever? I'd probably have to have dinner.
When would you usually have dinner? Yeah.
Probably 7. So let's end Epic Gamer hours at 7.
All right. And then
dinner till 7:30. YouTubing till 10. And then bedtime.
So bedtime at 10:30.
10:30.
After that long and excruciating process, it was time to wish Mason goodbye, and good luck. Let's see what happened.
It's just too early. Why? It's 10 o'clock. This is about as bad as I would figure it was gonna be. Okay, it may or may not be 1:30 in the afternoon, but I'm getting up now. I'm on schedule. I'm sorry, Rowan. I've showered, I've eaten, now I just need to start schoolwork. I'm a little behind on my schedule. It's 1 a.m. and I just brushed my teeth and washed my face, but oh well, time for bed. I wake up at 10. Oh.
We met again a few days later to see if he was following his schedule. During that time, he shared his experiences as well as what he struggled with.
Oh, it was an experience. You could tell I'm yawning because I've not been sleeping as much recently. I wonder why. The biggest challenge isn't like the sleep schedule. It's definitely like procrastinating and like making sure you stick with it, because it's really hard. For me, it's just like it's so easy to get distracted at home. Like I just have so many like things. Like I do homework on my home desktop computer, and it's like sometimes I'll have games running in the background, just like, and I'll be like, ooh, I could just, one round won't hurt, right? And then one round turns into like an hour. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I see. God, what have I done with my life?
Despite struggling a bit, the effort was worth it in the end. Ultimately, making a schedule is a good idea. It may not be easy, but putting the structure back into your life will help you for the remainder of the quarantine. COVID-19 has changed everything. The road has been long and hard to follow. But with your own personal schedule, you can bring your life back online. Stay on top of schoolwork, and remember that your mental health matters. I hope that by creating this, you can restructure your life for the next few months. From the Rocket AHS, I'm Rowan Tull.
Wow, I think I might need to make myself a schedule. I'll fit in a bit of time for learning a new skill, maybe hanging out with friends. Oh wait, I forgot. Quarantine. We have to stay home, or we're supposed to. Some people are not, and it does cause problems. Our final segment is by Lily Rose Day, and I'll let it speak for itself.
Both of my parents are nurses who work with COVID patients every day. When they come home, they then have to take care of my great-grandma, who's severely immunocompromised and gets sent to the hospital if she eats a piece of lettuce that wasn't washed correctly. Every day feels like we're walking on glass, trying to make sure it was cleanly as possible, since it legitimately could mean life or death. This is why it really affects me whenever I see my classmates post pictures of themselves hanging out in groups with the caption social distancing. I know being with friends can help take away the stress from it all, but in doing that, you're making the situation worse and prolonging everything that people like my parents are trying so hard to fight. Please stay home.
My name is Monica Clifton. I work at a major hospital in Seattle, Washington. Both of Lily Rose's parents are nurses. I work at the UW. Her father works at Island Hospital. We both take care of COVID patients. The risk personally for our family is if one of us came home with COVID and then helped Lily's 86-year-old grandma and transmitted COVID to her through droplet transmission, she would definitely die. You know, we want Lily Rose and the rest of us to have Granny alive for many, many, many years. The risk is real. Family members can die because healthcare workers can be transmission for coronavirus. So shelter at home is sound and reasonable and the responsible thing to do. For every one person who has COVID, we're able to transmit that to 2.5 people. There are also people who are super spreaders. Those super spreaders could have COVID themselves, be completely asymptomatic, not know that they have COVID, and potentially spread it up to 5 to 10 people. There is even a known case in peer-reviewed journal articles where one person was able to spread coronavirus to 19 different people. That patient was asymptomatic and didn't know they had it. Those 19 people then exponentially transmit the coronavirus to other people. Those other people could be a grandma who's 70 years old with some pre-existing conditions, hypertension and diabetes. The chances of that grandma making her way through the COVID path of illness are not always great. So that woman can die, and she could have had 20 more years of life if she hadn't contacted someone with coronavirus. And so that means her grandchildren, for all of those 20 years, never knew their grandma. So we are responsible for stopping the transmission of coronavirus to those at-risk individuals. And making sure that people have long-term connections with all of their family members and not die needlessly, so they can be there for our Christmases and our birthdays and whatever holidays it is that we celebrate. When other people are careless, it just shows that they don't care about others. It really does. They only care about themselves. They're not personally affected. They don't have grandmothers. They don't have grandfathers. They don't have brothers or sisters who have diabetes or high blood pressure or obesity. They're only thinking about themselves. Wearing a mask, wearing gloves, going out as little as possible, following Governor Inslee's shelter-in-place guidelines for a slow reopening is the right thing to do. You're saving someone else's life.
Did you guys get that? To stay home? Well, all right then. That wraps up our show for today. If you have any comments or suggestions, please email them to therock@asd103.org. And with that, I'm Bradley Logan. Stay home, stay safe, and most importantly, from our rock to yours, have a great day, AHS.